Hi. So this episode of 5 by 5 Coffee Bite is going to talk about a very peculiar subject which I was once asked around a month ago. And when we were talking about derailers to leadership, I was trying to say that of many derailers to leadership, eccentricity is one of the biggest derailers. Now, what is eccentricity? Each one of us has a certain peculiarity, a certain oddity, and we over a period of time start believing that our peculiarity is actually the cause for our success, and therefore we insist on carrying forward that peculiarity, and that becomes our eccentricity with which the team has to work when we are working together for a common goal. Let me give you some examples. I know of this CEO in Jaipur who I was coaching at a point of time, and as I went into his room, I was very surprised. There was this huge, larger-than-life poster of Amitabh Bachchan right behind him. Now, of course, it was a very aesthetically made poster. I was quite curious as to why would someone want to position a poster of Amitabh Bachchan in his official cabin as the managing director of his company. And so I asked him. So he gave me an explanation that actually from the time he was a child, he used to get a certain element of confidence when he used to see the movies of Amitabh Bachchan. And therefore, when he's sitting in his office and he's dealing with challenging situations and environments, he wants to get that element of confidence with the feeling that there is Amitabh Bachchan at his back. Oddity. Everyone knows that that poster can't do much different. Everybody knows that it has no implication in the corporate world. And yet, there is this belief that that oddity is the cause of one's success. Another person I know of, a CEO, who insisted that the revenue, that the books of accounts of the company would be written only in red colored ink. So no one could write the books of accounts in any other colored ink because he believed that red as a color was very auspicious, and that was the cause of his performance going up over a period of time. When he used to write in different colored pens, it was not succeeding. Therefore, when he started writing with red, it succeeded. Again, another oddity. So eccentricity is any oddity, idiosyncrasy, or peculiarity which makes a successful professional or a person or an owner actually believe that it is not any of his factors directly linked to him that is leading to enhanced performance, but that peculiarity or adherence to that behavior or adherence to that dress code or adherence to that color scheme or sitting arrangement was the cause for which the successful performance of the company could be directly linked to. And that is what eccentricity is about. Now the question is very simple. If you were working with a boss who had such kind of eccentricity or an owner who had that kind of an eccentricity, how much could you be tolerating it and how far should you be going? Because the case that we were discussing with one of my colleagues over a month ago was exactly that. So eccentricity has the ability to create a certain kind of a restriction on the behavior of another person. Certainly you could be writing with a different colored ink and it wouldn't make a difference to the performance at all. Or maybe a different colored clothing or a different colored garment would certainly not impact your performance adversely as expected by that person who believed that only a certain colored garment would lead to the eccentric color choice would lead to better performance. So how do you tackle such a situation if you were put in a situation where your boss, your manager, your owner was so eccentric? Number one is, I would say, that do not restrict or do not resist such resistance without understanding the depth of how important and why the person is saying that. So whilst it is a restriction on to you as an employee to follow such a restriction, it is much better that number one, you don't resist without understanding as to why is the person in that kind of a situation. Don't resist for the sake of resisting. Number two is, do not play to the gallery to show the other people that you are different and they are compliant versus you are an independent person and you would not comply to any kind of idiosyncrasies. So do not resist the idiosyncrasy of your manager or your boss merely because you are playing to the gallery and you are trying to show the others that actually you could be different and therefore you are resisting it. Don't do that, because you're going to be hurting either him or you, and generally your boss is a more powerful man than you are, so actually your behavior may end up hurting you purely just because you want to prove that you are a person of your own mind and thinking. Do not get distracted by the eccentricity. Whilst yes, you have a different choice, you have a different style, and you have a freedom, and you can always argue that the Constitution of India is giving you all those rights to do it the way you like it, but it is very important to focus on the purpose and not get deviated by the eccentricity at all. Focus on what the purpose is. Eccentricity is only a superficial distraction, which you should not allow that distraction to bother you. Fourth is, avoid any kind of rumors and see the positivities in it. Don't go and indulge out at the coffee table as to how this peculiarity is and what it means, and don't start creating jokes around it, because the person who is a person in power who has that peculiar eccentricity is actually very close and is wanting to genuinely believe in that eccentricity. He believes in that eccentricity. Therefore, don't go and make jokes out of it, because when these jokes reach his ears, and God forbid if these jokes are associated to you as the person cracking these kind of jokes, you jolly well understand that it's a career limiting move that you are making for yourself. And fifth, try and find out, is there a collective way in which you can work along with that eccentricity and yet perform, so that it's a win-win solution? He wins in providing leadership with that eccentricity, you being able to comply with that eccentricity without getting bothered about it and continuing to perform well, and therefore can you coexist and create a better value for yourself? There are people with peculiarities you will come across in your life. You don't have to resist every time. You have to find a collective way on which all of us with our peculiarities can walk the common path and work towards a common success and create a happy and exciting world. Thank you.